2024 Indian parliamentary elections now seem like a distant past, particularly in the light of the near war-like India-Pakistan conflict. Their political, cultural, and ideological repercussions could be long-term. Taking a detailed look at how Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bharatiya Janata Party subpar electoral performance about a year ago might impact the debate over India's constitution is a new book by journalist and writer Ashutosh titled Reclaiming Bharat: What Changed in 2024 and What Lies Ahead. Ashutosh, who dabbled in politics for a short period of time, offers a comprehensive view of the country's ideological and political landscape, particularly bearing in mind the decisive influence of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh or the RSS. He spoke to MCR from New Delhi. Welcome to Mayank Chhaya Reports, Ashutosh. It's a great pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Many congratulations on yet another book, Reclaiming Bharat.
Yes.
Okay. I'm intrigued by the title of the book. I've always been intrigued, in fact, by this popular debate, India versus Bharat. I've not understood it, but define it for me to begin with. What is Bharat to you?
I think it's a very difficult question, but let me try to answer this. First of all, why the title is Reclaiming Bharat. I think it's a rather intriguing, and it has a multifaceted, multi-dimensional meaning too. First of all, in the context of 2024 parliament election, there are two competing ideas. One competing idea is the Hindutva idea, which believe that India has lost many grounds in the last 75 years. So they have to reclaim that Bharat. They have to reclaim that ground. Whereas there's another competing idea, which is based on the Nehruvian consensus, that in the last 10 years, that is since Modi became the Prime Minister, India has lost a lot of ground. So that ground has to be reclaimed. But other than this, since Mandal Commission, upper caste believe that they have lost ground to the Mandal politics, so they have to reclaim their ground. Whereas the Dalits and the OBCs, they realize that they are much bigger in number, but they have conceded too much ground to the upper caste in last thousands of years. They have to reclaim that ground. So it's a multi-dimensional, multifaceted title in that sense. What I believe Bharat is, this India, which is what Gandhi has propagated, what the Nehru has propagated, which carries the civilizational values, and which is something like believes in Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, Satyameva Jayate, and which is basically the crux of Indian civilization, which doesn't discriminate between Hindus and the Muslims and all. And I still remember what Gandhi has said when he was asked, what is your true religion? He said, my true religion is the summation of all the religions. What is best in all the religion is my religion. So, in my opinion, when I'm talking about, I could have easily called this book Reclaiming India. We deliberately decided not to go for the India because Bharat is not a copyright of only BJP or the RSS and the Hindutva forces. So why that space should be conceded to them? That is why we believe in that the India of Nehru's vision, the India of Gandhi's vision, the India of our freedom movement's true values, the India of our large civilization, that is what that India is my Bharat, and that is what I believe in.
I'm glad you mentioned the BJP because that's a perfect segue for me. Since the party regards itself as the custodian of Bharat, and the fact that even at its peak since 2014, it has gained about 40% of national votes. That's about 300 million odd people out of 1.4 billion. What are we talking about when they say they are the custodians of Bharat, as it were? What do you think that means?
See, they have a different understanding of India. They have a different understanding of India's history, and they have a grudge. They have a grudge that India, which belongs to Hindus somehow suffered in history. So they want to reclaim that India. They want to reclaim that Bharat. And I'm not I'm not too obsessed with what they want to reclaim it. But the fact of the matter is that is not where they are trying to pursue. They are trying to pursue a Bharat which is basically doesn't represent the true essence of this country. That because our essence of our country is a composite culture, not only because the Muslims came in or the Christians came in. Much before the Muslims and the Christians, this country was a composite culture. We have, even within the Hindus, there were different schools of philosophies, and there are certain schools of philosophies who contradict with each other. There are certain schools of philosophy who believe in the Gyan Marg, like Shankaracharya. There are certain schools of philosophy which believes in the Bhakti Marg, that is Ramanuja. And then there is a Nastic, that even if you don't believe in God, even if you don't believe in Vedas, you are a Hindu. If you believe in if you're born in a Hindu family. So a philosophy, a civilization of such vast proportion, they want to just turn it into a narrow lane. That's a problem with this ideology. But I concede one point, that in the last 75 years since India became independent, maybe because of the leftist impression, I think the religion has been something which has been negated. The religion, the kind of respect which religion should be given, was not given. And that is why this word secularism, BJP succeeded in discrediting that. Secularism in Indian context turned into anti-religion. That if somebody who's putting a tika on his head, a Hindu, suddenly he's branded as a communal. Or the Muslim putting a topi on his head, suddenly he's branded as a communal. My parents come over here, they live with me. Early in the morning, they get up, they go to the temple, they put a tika. Can I call them a communal? No. But unfortunately, that has been the narrative for a very, very long time. I think that what I believe in, the secularism has to live with religion. Secularism has to engage with the religion. Secularism has to understand religion. And it is this neglect of religion by the secular forces, which given space to the BJP and to the Hindutva forces to reach where they are today, because they successfully propagated, convinced a large section of society that they are anti-religion and they are there to appease Muslims or minorities to gain votes, and they've insulted Hindus. That's the narrative. How true, how wrong, that's a different debate altogether. But the fact of the matter is, they succeeded in that, and that is why we are paying a price today.
I was talking about in the narrow specific sense when I read your book. Perhaps the core of your argument is the tension over India's constitution between the Hindu right and the left liberal and center liberal thinking. You've written that the RSS, the ideological backbone of the BJP, was always opposed to the constitution as it exists. Instead, it wanted the Manusmriti, the ancient Indian code. Elaborate on that a bit.
Mayank, before answering that question, let me first give you my 5 postulates, because within that framework, I have written this book and also my earlier book called Hindu Rashtra. What I believe in and what I have mentioned in my earlier book, that what we are witnessing today is basically a march of an ideological state. I'm not saying that India has turned into an ideological state. It is yet to be an ideological state, but what we are witnessing is a march of an ideological state. Within that framework, what I see is that in 2014, when the transfer of power took place from Manmohan Singh to Narendra Modi, it's not a normal transfer of power. And I compare it with the transfer of power which happened in 15th August 1947, when the transfer of power happened from the Britishers to the English, because whole concept changed, everything changed, and whole understanding changed after 2014 when the Modi became the Prime Minister. And the third postulate is that the nature of the state has changed. This state is not what we had seen and witnessed before 2014. uh, what during Manmohan Singh's time or Atal Bihari Vajpayee's time or Devagowda's time. The nature of the state did not change. And today the nature of the state has changed. My fourth postulate is, which I always dread my left liberal friends will have a problem with that, when I call it that 2000 that this RSS Hindutva is basically a right-wing revolution. And I've explained that in my book. How should we explain this? In my opinion, the revolution has three important segments. One, it disconnects itself from the immediate past. In the present, it leads to a disruption to create a future utopia, that is deconstruction of the future. And the last one, if you read RSS ideology, what it says that Hindus are in a perpetual war with the Muslims and the Christians for the last 1200 years. And Hindus cannot afford to not lose this battle. They have to win come what may. In my opinion, since 2014 onwards, the Indian state is constantly at war. It's in the war mode. So every action of the RSS and the BJP and the Modi government, which shocks us, if we try to understand why this is happening, why there is a Waqf bill, why there is a mob lynching, why the election commission is behaving the way it is behaving, why the Supreme Court is behaving the way it is behaving today. Because in my opinion, in an ideological state, every arm of the state, every arm of the government, every section of the society has to work for the construction of the utopia. And anybody and anyone who opposes to that has no reason to exist, will be annihilated. They will be dubbed as enemy of the state. So if within that framework, if you see this book and Reclaiming Bharat, so it's a battle between the two ideas. The one idea which has been propagated by Nehru and Gandhi, the other ideas propagated by Hedgewar, and then Golwalkar and the Savarkar. So within that framework, I have tried to make my readers understand that why 2024 election is such an important election in Indian context. Because in my opinion, 2014 and 2019 elections were exceptional elections. In 2014, people were overwhelmingly, emotionally rejected Congress party. In 2019, because of the Balakot, people had voted BJP because of guided by the ultra-nationalism. But 2024 election is a normal election. And in that normal election, emotionalism was not there. 10 years anti-incumbency was there. People were, a section of the people are worried about that the way BJP is talking about 400 seats, whether they are going to change the constitution or not, something like that. So if we try to, that's why this election has become so important for me. And that is why I decided to write this. And I ended this book by saying this, that that RSS is at the crossroads. From here onwards, if they decide to take a social justice path, which finally they have taken, because now Modi has decided to go for the caste census, which is a major climb down in my opinion, because RSS and Hindutva and the BJP always believed that the caste census is something which will damage their Hindu unity project. Because if people are identified by their caste and the caste divide becomes very grave, then what will happen to the meta identity called Hindu? So within that framework, if you look at this book, then this becomes for me becomes very important, and that is why I wrote this book, and especially focused on UP, why the BJP lost UP, from where Mr. Narendra Modi contest election in Varanasi, Yogi Adityanath is there, Ayodhya is there, Kashi is there, Mathura is there. Despite that, they lose, and Narendra Modi marginally managed to win the elections, where everybody thought he will win by 10 lakh votes. So it becomes important for me to analyze and understand. I do not know how much I've been succeeded, but I made a serious and honest effort.
I'm glad you mentioned the caste-based census. I was coming to it, but since you already mentioned it, I might as well advance that question. The fact that Rahul Gandhi has been persistently campaigning for it, and the fact that Prime Minister Modi has been persistently resisting it, finally yielding now, do you see that translating into some kind of electoral setback for the BJP in the next round of elections?
See, this is basically a damage control exercise by the BJP. Frankly speaking, if given a chance, RSS and the BJP and Modi government would have never agreed to the caste census. In fact, if I remind my viewers which are watching this show that on 2nd October 2023, when the Nitish Kumar government came out with the caste survey report, Mr. Narendra Modi was in Gwalior. And in a rally, he responded and reacted and said, this caste survey is a sin. This is dangerous for the country. From that day till this day, what has changed? The one fundamental change which has taken place was this 2024 parliament elections. Right. And in that parliament elections, the Dalits and OBCs, they decided that if we go with the BJP, then probably they will be losing that civilizational war. And within that framework, if you look at in Maharashtra and the UP, these two states become very, very important. Why so? Because these are the two states which have seen a Dalit assertion, which has seen Dalit consciousness going high. Like in Maharashtra, it's a land of Baba Saheb Ambedkar, Jyotiba Phule, and a great Dalit movement. In UP, Kashiram and Mayawati successfully changed the matrix of the power structure in UP. And within these two states, BJP is almost routed. In UP, when the election was starting, BJP was so confident to get almost 70 plus seats. But when they were reduced to 33 seats, that was a wake-up call. They realized that if this trend continues, if Dalits and the OBCs, their aspirations are not being addressed, then the BJP and the RSS will have a problem. So first signal was given by RSS in Palakkad. After the meeting, when Sunil Ambekar told media that yes, caste census can be done, but only for the welfare measures, not for the political purposes. That was a major climb down. Because they've realized that the caste identities are getting very, very crystallized. Dalits, they are very worried about that if the constitution is going to be changed, then they lose their identity. OBCs has been fighting tooth and nail that any leader from the OBC community, which becomes big, suddenly they are branded as a Jungle Raj, or the Gunda Raj, or a corruption, Bhrashtachar Raj, something like this. So they were also demanding their pound of flesh. And if you carefully look at the data by CSDS, in 2024 elections, BJP lost almost 15 to 20% vote share amongst the OBCs and Dalits. That was a warning signals. And I think what they are doing now is a damage control exercise. But there is a problem. The problem is BJP movement and the Hindutva movement is basically carried forward by the upper caste. 14 to 20% of 14 to 20% of the society. They have been rulers for thousands of years. And they realize that to counter mandal politics, they have to align with the BJP because BJP is there to serve their interest. You will be surprised to know that in UP, almost more than 85% upper caste has voted for the BJP since 2014 onwards. Now, this is the segment of the society which is solidly with the BJP, but never wanted caste survey. They strongly opposed to any kind of reservations to the OBCs and the Dalits. Now, since BJP has come out with the caste census, there is already a murmur among the upper caste, and they are expressing themselves on the social media platforms. They are upset, but whether they will ditch BJP, that is something which has to be seen in future. Because the question is, where will they go? They can't go to Samajwadi Party, they can't go to the Congress Party, they can't go to others. Because Rahul Gandhi has been strongly advocating for the caste census and the more than 50% reservations, and also reservations among the private sector. So upper caste is upset, but their move in future has to be seen, and that will be very interesting to watch in which direction they are going.
You know, sitting afar, Ashutosh, I get the sense that we are, in a way, in the midst of witnessing the peaking of the Hindu right, especially after 2024 elections, if you look at the results.
First of all, is that an accurate view? And the second, if that is the reality, then do you think they are still capable of transforming the constitution to bring it in line with their civilizational ideas like the Manusmriti?
I think this is a very interesting time for the Hindutva forces. I will still not say that whether Hindu right has peaked and they are on the downhill. I'm not convinced about this submission for the simple reason because Hindutva led by RSS has a tremendous capacity to transform itself. They have great resilience. This is a force which is greatly organized, and perhaps no other force has been so well organized. And they have the patience of an ocean. And the Hindutva which was propounded by Golwalkar, the Hindutva which was propounded by Hedgewar, and Hindutva up today are two different theses altogether. Though the core is still the same, but a party which once was called as a Brahman Baniya party today is trying to project itself as an inclusive party, which is trying to take Dalits along, which is trying to take OBCs along. But the conundrum is that they want Dalits and the OBCs with them, but they don't want to give them leadership. They talk about samarasta. Samarasta means you live, it's like peaceful coexistence.
Right.
Kind of thing, it's a peaceful coexistence. They don't believe into the assimilation. They don't believe into the assimilation. So they believe in peaceful coexistence. And unless BJP and the Hindutva forces are in a position to solve this conundrum, whether this Hindutva movement will be led by upper caste, by the Brahman, Vaishya and Kshatriya, or they will be led by OBCs. If they could resolve this conundrum, I think that will decide the future of the Hindutva in this country. But I'm still not willing to say that Hindu right has peaked and they are on the downhill. They have a tremendous capacity to change themselves, transform themselves.
No, my intention was to illustrate peaking electorally, maybe not culturally and civilizationally, but electorally. If you look at 2024 and the sudden decline in their number of seats, do you think that might at least be a sobriety check for them?
I think it's a great question, and I think there is a feeling within the RSS itself, and first of all, let me try to explain this within the ideological framework. Within that ideological framework, what Mohan Bhagwat has said and what has been said earlier too, that for Narendra Modi or for the BJP, their next target is to form the government in a state and at the national level. But for the RSS, that's not the priority. Their priority is Hindu unity. Their priority is to strengthen Hindu consciousness. Their priority is to make Hindu proud of their being in existence. If that is served by being in the government, good enough. If that is not served by being in the government, they are willing to leave that path. And the RSS leaders, Mohan Bhagwat in 2023 in Ahmedabad in a get together has said very openly that politics is secondary. Politics is only a facilitator. So that means that if the politics is serving their purpose, good enough. If the politics is not serving their purpose, they are willing to sacrifice politics. And why I'm saying so, because there is an understanding within the RSS that the kind of politics which has been pursued by BJP in the last 10 years, it has helped expand tremendously, but it has also earned bad name for Hindutva. Hindutva at the global level today is seen as a force which is a backward-looking force. It's a kind of a, I will not say that it has become a curse word, but what they are dreading it, that if the Hindutva is also seen how the political Islam is seen globally, then that will be the death of the Hindutva. So they are in a position that whatever we have gained, the time is to consolidate prepare for the future, and then wait for the time to take a next leap. They don't want Hindutva to go the radical Islam way or the jihadi way, that the whole world have started criticizing Islamic jihad and the political Islam, and it has become a hate word. It has been identified with the terrorism. They don't want, the RSS leadership is very clear on that point. But the compulsion of politics is such that unless you talk in terms of hate, you will not be able to get the political brownie points.
Right.
That is why you remember that Mohan Bhagwat has put his foot down and not letting BJP have the party president. That battle is going on for the last 1.5 years. And finally, Narendra Modi has also realized that RSS this time is not going to listen to them. So he has gone to the Nagpur.
Right.
So the battle is a very interesting battle. I don't know whether I have been able to explain this clearly or not. But this is a very interesting time for the RSS and Hindutva.
Tied to that question, which is sort of trivial in one sense, but it's also important, is RSS has this tradition of people retiring at 75. Both Mohan Bhagwat and Narendra Modi will turn 75 within 6 days of each other. September 11th is Mohan Bhagwat and September 17th is Narendra Modi. Is that something that the RSS might enforce? Do you think that's a factor at all? Or given that we are in a war-like situation with Pakistan, that may not be a consideration at this point?
I think it's a very interesting question, but I don't think it is going to be implemented.
Okay.
Though RSS is definitely looking for leaders who can take forward Hindutva in the post-Modi scenario. They have identified a few individuals. But I don't think Mr. Narendra Modi is going to retire too soon. Mohan Bhagwat is going to retire too soon. It's more for the... because you are right. Right now, the kind of political scenario in this country is, I don't think anybody will be in a position to handle other than Narendra Modi. There are too many crises which the country is facing. I'm not doubting that there is a talent deficit in the country. But the kind of mess we are in right now, globally and inside, within the RSS thinking, Modi is the best person to handle that.
I see.
And within the BJP also, Modi is the right person to handle. And secondly, there's no doubt about it, Narendra Modi is still a popular leader. And it will not be easy for the RSS to ease him out. It will not be easy.
Right.
So let's, unless Modi himself decides to step down. That I don't see happening.
Which is unlikely, yeah. Which is unlikely. To change gears a bit, Ashutosh, we are barely a year from May 14, 2024, when Prime Minister Modi quite stunningly proclaimed in a television interview, and you write about that, of him being sent by God and sometimes wondering whether he's even biological. That divinity delusion appears to have vanished now. Tell me about that.
I don't think he's a delusional. No.
No, he perhaps he believes it.
I don't think so. I think he's too smart a politician. He's too smart a politician. He's very.
Sometimes I'm not too sure. I mean, of course, he's a tremendously astute politician. I'm not questioning that. I'm saying the sense of grandiosity that he has developed about himself. I think that seems to be real.
It's carefully manufactured. What I'm very fond of saying this, that Modi is one politician who has been very carefully manufactured in the RSS industry, and Modi has mastered the art of being a different person with the different people. Like, look at when he goes abroad, when he meets Trump, he hugs him. Have you ever seen him hugging any Indian politician? No. When you what Lalki Sadhwani used to say that अगर आप मोदी जी को बहुत दूर से देखेंगे तो आप उनके फैन हो जाएंगे, अगर आप उनके करीब आएंगे तो आप उनकी पूजा करने लगेंगे, लेकिन अगर आप उनके बहुत करीब आएंगे तो आप उनको पसंद नहीं करेंगे. तो he's a different person altogether. He is everything is cultivated, everything is acquired, everything is manufactured, and everything is very, very carefully planned. His entire persona is very carefully planned, and some brilliant minds must be working on this. See, in this election, why he said कि मैं non-biological हूँ, because I think being in a position like the position he is in, he must have information that he might be losing elections or he might not be doing so well. So he invested in himself that I am born, I have become the prime minister to do something which no other the prime minister or no other leader can do, and probably the God wants through me that those things to be done. So he wanted his voters to realize that if they are voting for the BJP or if they're voting for the Narendra Modi, then they're basically contributing into some cosmic changes in this country. So he wanted their voters to realize, to have a sense of accomplishment, which no other leader has done that. But this did not work, obviously. I think what happened to him is very miscalculated this time, that that Ram Mandir consecration will bring votes to the BJP. That is why on 22nd it is done in such a grand level.
Right.
But once it did not work, and I could see that in the month of January and February, everybody sitting in Delhi and across the country believed in that the BJP is going to get more than 300 seats. Even the opinion poll and every agency was talking about it. But something happened in the first week of March onwards. And that is where BJP did not know what to do, because they didn't have a plan B. If they had a plan B, they would have certainly, since they did not have a plan B, so they resorted to their old trick, that is communalization. That the Prime Minister is speaking about the infiltrators, Mangal Sutra, गाय छीन लेंगे, भैंस छीन लेंगे, अगर इंडिया के लोग आएंगे तो राम मंदिर को demolish कर देंगे, शरिया कानून लागू हो जाएगा. This is not the rhetorics I heard in 2014, neither in 2019. This is something which is bizarre. But why did it? They did it because they knew they are losing. They are not getting 272 seats. Within that framework, Modi tried to project himself as a divine figure.
Right.
That the people who are giving votes to the BJP, they are participating into a divine exercise.
Right.
So I don't think that he's a delusional leader. He's a very smart leader, very astute leader. He knows what he's doing.
To change gears a bit, just last couple of things. One is, for the last 25, 30, maybe even 50 years, two of the biggest points that the Hindu right has been obsessed with have been, of course, the construction of the Ram Temple and abrogation of Article 370. Both have been accomplished. So by their measure, this is a golden period of the Hindu right. What else is left now in terms of specific political actions to be taken? But I'm saying in terms of civilizational strength that the RSS is trying to exercise, where do you see this movement going now, post-Modi? I mean, at some point there will be post-Modi.
See, Ram Mandir and the abrogation of Article 370, these are not destinations for the RSS. These are basically stations, like the train is moving and this is one of those stations. The final destination is Hindu unity. That is their final destination. How they will achieve it, that's a different game altogether. But since 1925, when the RSS was formed, the only motto, only slogan, only target is to unite Hindus. Unless Hindus are united, they will again be enslaved, like Islam did for 500, 600 years, then the Christianity did. And in their analysis, they realized that because Hindus are divided in different castes, Hindus are divided under different identities. So let's create a meta-Hindu identity where whether you are a Shudra or Brahmins, you should feel proud that you are a Hindu. That objective, that destination, RSS has not reached. And since that destination is still far away from their understanding, so they will keep doing that. And within that framework, if they keep experimenting also, like this whole exercise of the caste census is a great clampdown. And that shows how resilient the RSS is, how resilient the Hindutva is. It is not a very rigid, compartmentalized things. And I'll give only two examples. The one example is how they have appropriated Mahatma Gandhi. See, Mahatma Gandhi, RSS always criticized Mahatma Gandhi. Even Sardar Patel has written a letter, the kind of hatred you spewed. It is because of that hatred Gandhi was killed. And so they always hated Mahatma Gandhi. But once they realize after the partition, after the freedom, after the independence, that they can't do politics, they can't work in the society unless you appropriate Gandhi. So they appropriated Gandhi. And over a period of time, they've also realized that the time has come when they have to appropriate Baba Saheb Ambedkar. So now they are out to appropriate Baba Saheb Ambedkar too. So this shows the resilience within them. They are only, in my final analysis, that I still believe that though they have tried to, they are trying to appropriate Gandhi and Ambedkar both, but in their heart, they still hate Gandhi. But they know that the time has not come when they can discard Gandhi altogether from within the political framework. So the first target is to attack Nehru, discredit Nehru, and once Nehru is finally discredited, only then they can attack Gandhi. So why I'm saying so? I'm saying so for the simple reason because that shows the resilience with it, in RSS. Look at Charan Singh. They have given Chaudhary Charan Singh Bharat Ratna. Charan Singh was responsible for the demise of the Janata Party government, and the whole issue was RSS. And but they have given Charan Singh Bharat Ratna. So it's a force which is very, very, and one thing which is again very important is that why RSS and the BJP have not faced any split till now in last 100 years. Every political party has fragmented in many parts. The Congress, God knows how many. The socialist parties, there are too many socialist parties. There's no split has ever taken place, neither in the Jan Sangh nor in the RSS. A few individuals have been thrown out of the party. Why? Because they have an excellent crisis management mechanism. So right now they might be facing. I still believe that right now they are facing a crisis, but they have a patience, they have resilience, and they know how to manage crisis. So this, in today's framework, if they feel that this is the time to lie low or to take a step back, they will do that.
Do you ever visualize a situation where the RSS may throw its weight behind someone other than the BJP?
If they realize that the BJP is not serving their purpose, if the BJP is not doing something which is to be done for the Hindu unity project,
so
like
it's expedient for them.
Yes. So because they within their understanding, look, see, it was RSS which was formed. It is not, and once after independence, after the Gandhi's death, when they found themselves totally isolated, totally cornered, then they realized that the politics is also important because they need a covering of the politics,
right.
And that is why the Jan Sangh was formed. So the formation of Jan Sangh was not the primary objective. The objective was to save the revolution, the Hindutva revolution, and politics supports that. Politics acts as a facilitator for them. So if the day they realize that the RSS, the BJP has lived its objective, is no longer helping RSS in the direction of the Hindu unity project, they will not think twice. They will discard it. But right now they will do it. I'm not of that opinion. But if we go back in past, in 1984, they supported Congress party, and openly everybody knows it.
Exactly.
And the BJP was reduced to 2 seats. So in their opinion, the Hindu unity project is the final destination. Whether it is the Congress, whether it is the BJP, whether anybody else, whosoever is helping them, they'll support that party or that individual.
Right.
If the BJP helps them, since BJP is their own creation, so obviously the primary affiliation and affection will be with the BJP. But the day BJP will live its utility, they will not think twice to leave that behind.
To conclude, Ashutosh, what do you see in terms of the younger leadership of the BJP after Modi's influence begins to wane at some point? That is bound to happen. That's natural order of things. What do you see there?
See, unless there is a surprise package, I think the three leaders we all have to watch out for is one is Devendra Fadnavis from Maharashtra, another is Yogi Adityanath, and third is Amit Shah. Amit Shah looks to be a natural choice if all goes well with Narendra Modi, because if Modi has to choose, then obviously Amit Shah will be there. But if the RSS has to choose, then RSS will have some reservation about Amit Shah. And the preferred choice can be either Yogi Adityanath or Devendra Fadnavis. And in my opinion, in the last few months, I think Yogi Adityanath has not played its cards too well. And RSS has got a little cautious because RSS feel that Yogi Adityanath has become too autonomous. And they have, since RSS has already burnt his fingers with Modi, so they don't want another person getting too autonomous and too independent to be reined in. And within that framework, Devendra Fadnavis can be a good choice for two reasons. One, Devendra Fadnavis has the deep roots in the RSS. His father was also in RSS. And secondly, he's urbane as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, which presides over the financial capital of the country. So he can pull a lot of resources, and he can have a better interaction with the global leaders. In that case, Yogi Adityanath will be a little bit misfit, but you never know what happens in future.
And there is also the subterranean factor of Fadnavis being a Maharashtrian, right?
Yes.
That's definitely a factor. They may not
Yes.
talk about it, but that will, if the choice came down to Yogi Adityanath and Fadnavis, I wouldn't be surprised if the strong Maharashtrian core of the RSS would go for Fadnavis.
You know, there is a very interesting thing here, because Yogi Adityanath has never been was not a part of the BJP.
Right.
So Yogi Adityanath has nothing to do with the RSS. He's basically, his lineage is from the Hindu Mahasabha.
Right.
So he is not he's not trained into the RSS discipline. So at times he tends to get very autonomous, very independent, and that is what the RSS is not liking. Whereas, very interesting thing you talked about the Maharashtra. You know, the biggest grudge of the Maharashtra is that they have never been able to conquer Delhi. So that unfinished agenda is with Devendra Fadnavis and the RSS too.
Absolutely, yeah. Having lived in Mumbai and interacted with Maharashtrians all the time, I know that this is a subterranean factor, but being Maharashtrians, they are not very in your face in expressing their ambitions, like Gujaratis tend to be.
Yeah.
As a Gujarati,
it's a very rich tradition, and they're very, 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 very fond of their tradition. It's a very rich tradition, very rich culture.
It is, yeah, it is. On that note, Ashutosh, I want to thank you for your time. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, and I hope your book becomes a bestseller and rakes you in a lot of money.
Thank you.